Here we go. I told you I was here. We were going to get it popping today. Check in, check, check, check. One, two, three, checker for my people. Before we do anything, for all of you guys checking in, and we wanted to make sure that our fans get the pretty big, bright spotlight put on you. So we want to make sure that we highlight you, yes, for taking the time, whether you were live or if you came after the show. Today, we're going to be giving you some great insight to what actually goes down in the fight game. And there'll be a lot of pearls for you guys to take away. And so we will get into there are three reasons and three reasons only, believe it or not, due to popular belief that fighters lose fights. So if you're a trainer, one of the ones operating the gym, or if you're someone who really is into boxing or combat sports and you really want to know these things, we have great information for you to take away. And of course, I got to let my fans check in. All of my people. Let me see. We got my man, Coach Paul Haraba, for out in the All C area, getting it in. Special shouts out to you, brother. How you feeling today? All of you, do not fret. We will be plugging away at those people who are like yourself and you want to know. We have a specialist coming on, and we're going to cover the insight to really learning what exactly does it take to master the science of your physical body as well. And I think you'll have a lot of interesting topics to take away from this. And if you really are like me, you want information that can improve your life from your inside. You want to improve your life physically outside. You want to understand the process of being successful in your endeavor. So we will talk that talk, but the biggest thing is to make sure we give our shouts out to my people. Another one of our brothers out in Freeport, New York, Freeport Boxing Fitness. Make sure you check all of my people out who are learning how to teach you in a way that you just can't get everywhere. Process first and everything else follows. I am extremely grateful for all of you to take the time to tune in to us because we don't take it lightly. And what we're trying to do is, yeah, perfect. We have our good guy. He's going to be coming on, and we're going to enlighten our people in such a way that it's going to benefit you. And that's the only thing we want to do is to give you guys the information that you want. So while you're sitting here, think of something that you really want to know when it comes down to either physical or if you're aspiring athlete or you're working as a coach. The people who we are trying to make sure really get this thing are those who are seriously trying to do this stuff. So let me see what my man say. Shout out to the Bronx, absolutely in the house. I do have a lot of power in my punches. However, can't someone who doesn't have any punch power gain some power? George, that's a great question. And you know what? I'm going to answer that one because a lot of people don't realize that power is only one aspect of boxing. It's just like all you need is you need 2 feet to get in the ring. The reality is it's important that you realize that physics is about more than just mass. It's about the dexterity of your movement and motion. In cycle 2 in the Art of Sparring series, which we are airing October the 27th, you'll get an opportunity to jump right in and see that all. It's a 6-part cycle, 6 cycles, meaning each day is an entirety of six cycles. So you'll see an entire breakdown lesson of all of these questions that you have: how to speed, the power, the defense, footwork, counter punching, and all of those things. They all wrap themselves up right here. And what I'll tell you to do, my friend George, is to go up here, subscribe, And for all of our subscribers, we are going to be making sure that we got you guys covered, and you get to see this. And this thing, in the totality of it, would be a total of 24,997 bucks. So we're giving our people who subscribe to Master Boxing LLC, we're giving you the opportunity to see that entire thing for free. And it will be a once in a lifetime opportunity. So go subscribe. Next Thursday, I think next Thursday, I think it goes out. And all of those things that you're asking, how to get more power in your punch and deliver punching, because it's not about hitting hard and matter. It's about a entirely different element. And you'll get to learn all of those things. But right now, I have a special guest coming on that I wanted to introduce to my audience, because as I spoke before, uh, I said that there were a multitude of things. There are three reasons why people lose fights. And number two is lifestyle. So I brought on a special guest today to speak to this. And we have our special guest today, Coach CALITO, from my man. What's going on, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on today. It's an honor to be on this podcast, man. And the fact that you're talking about something that is close to my heart when it comes to boxing in general, condition,
Yeah.
lifestyle, man, I am so glad to be on here.
Oh man, it's good, man. Well, our people are here, and I got a couple of questions that I know you get these same questions every day, but you can never hear them too many times. And at the same time, they have to be repeated over and over until it's muscle memory. You
Mm-hmm,
get it, you hear it till you get it right, and
mm-hmm,
then you do it, and you can't do it till you can't do it wrong, and then you keep doing it until you become a master, and we
mm-hmm,
call that physical mastery.
mm-hmm,
You feel me? So
mm-hmm,
there are levels to this. And one thing I want to know, man, tell me how you got into this industry. And
mm-hmm,
while you talk, I am going to share a couple of your videos. Tell me,
mm-hmm.
walk me through it. We're going to hold you maybe 15 minutes, man, because we got to pull that information out of your body, man. Because I got some great coaches who are
Mm-hmm.
following and a lot of combat athletes.
Mm,
So don't
awesome.
sleep. And we do have a women, we have a women audience too now. So I
Oh,
know after I show them some of your clips, they're gonna be like, "Where is Instagram?" Go for it, champ.
yeah, for sure. So
Look at
my
her.
name is Coach Carlito. I'm pretty much based in South Florida. And when it comes to training, in the past, growing up from an island background, I wanted to be, I wanted to be a football player, but unfortunately, my conditioning and my lifestyle at the time didn't match up with my ambitions. So all
Wow.
throughout school, I wasn't fit enough. Now I did try out, but as you know, with boxing, if your stamina, your breathing condition is not on point, then
Look
within
at
the
this
first
guy.
2-3 minutes of that fight, you're done for. You know, the person that's gonna win a fight is the one that has better conditioning. Is able to
Oh my
control
gosh.
the longest. So,
Yeah.
so from
You
that,
see?
mhm. and
No,
from
go
that,
ahead. Go ahead.
okay, from that perspective, once I realized what it took, to get to where I wanted to, I tried out some things on my own. Just kind of like piecing together different information, but that still wasn't enough because I didn't really have a guide. And it
Yeah.
took me from playing football, now
Yeah.
not soccer that I originally wanted, but American football, and suffering a ACL injury. And
Oh man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
brutal.
and recovering from that was what changed everything for me. It made
Yeah.
me step back and really analyze, what it takes to be an athlete, to be a fully
Yeah.
functional, not just putting on mass, putting on muscle just for the
Yeah.
sake of it, but
Yeah.
so much so to translate what I do in the gym into my
Yes.
life, you know, and
Yes.
which is what brought me to where I am today, with making sure mobility is something that I practice daily,
Woo.
and conditioning. Because it's good to, for majority of us guys, men in general, when it comes to
Yes.
the gym, I feel like we chase the aesthetics. And you
Oh
probably
yeah.
had the same experience, Eric.
Oh
And
yeah.
But once you get into this fitness space for a while, you tend to realize, hey man, you'll never be the biggest guy in the gym. There's always gonna be somebody else bigger than you or stronger than you that can lift more.
Yeah.
It's like what are you trying to get out of it? And
Yeah.
I just had to have that self-talk. And
Yes.
I just started paving my own way because
Well,
the end goal for me is just to learn more about mechanics, about movement, you
well,
know?
you're doing a tremendous job, and I'm going to let people see a couple of nice videos from your Instagram. So, and I put it there for people to see, because you are not. I don't see people often that I'm wowed with,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And in the combat world, there's a misconception of people who just spoke up, like my young friend who just left a comment.
Hmm.
Let me see, what was his name? George.
Hmm.
So George, spoke to power. And the thing about it is, I'm gonna pop the questions up here in a second for you to answer. People don't understand developing power and
Hmm.
strength
Hmm.
is twofold. There
Hmm.
are certain particular things that you need in boxing or MMA that you need layers of muscle for dexterity. It's not for show. They are not bodybuilders. Therefore, you typically, when you see fighters, they are svelte,
Hmm.
very lean, but not all thick with mass.
Hmm.
Now, when I watch you, most guys who go to the gym and they're built, they don't have the flexion and the range. And how you've merged your worlds is so advantageous to the body, especially for people who want to gain muscle
Hmm.
and who want to actually develop without getting too massed up,
Hmm.
but and able to be agile. So from there, I'm going to give you the floor back and answer a couple of questions that people have, and make sure any of you who have questions, drop them down before I get, because I got 4 questions that I want to throw at you, and I'm just queuing you up to do what you do best, and
Hmm.
that's talk about the body. So, what common mistakes do you see people, athletes or regular people, making while strength training?
Oof. Wow,
And-
that's fun. And these are, also things that I did, when I first started and with my
yes,
training. Because
yeah,
when we're starting out, we don't know any better. We just kind of have an idea of just watching bodybuilders in general. So
yes,
first one is not having a proper warm up. You know, uh,
yeah,
most of us, we just go in the gym and then just automatically get to it. Wham bam. And what
yeah,
that does is you're not priming your muscles, to
mm-hmm,
get ready for the work that you're about to, do. And that's what leads to 90% of injuries because the muscles
yes,
aren't primed. They're not ready yet. It's like
yeah,
you woke up and boom, you got 3 plates on the bench, or you going straight to the squat rack, not getting the
yeah,
loose and having
mm-hmm.
ability. Okay, so
Wow.
proper warm up is key. And
What would be your suggestion? How long would a person warm up? And and I do want you to understand, I would never get someone up here that I did not respect their overall cachet, because I'm an expert in this field.
Mhm,
But to see someone who's young and gets it already, man, your career, man, I mean, you already got a stellar following,
well, thank
and you're doing, the game of service. My only advice is to stay consistent, keep going. You don't want to do it sometimes, but these people right now, look, I got questions popping up that I haven't even gotten to, that they
mm,
want you to answer, that you'd be able to answer. Um,
that's
but
awesome.
the thing is, this is
Mhm,
how people are out here. They don't know. And every day you don't put something out there is a day that people don't believe that that person exists. And if you caught my eye, that's saying something, because I do this for real. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
People pay a lot of money to get what I got in my head, and I try to get it in their head. And same for you. And I hope people will follow you, because I'm going to keep your IG up here as we go. That was good information there. So the next question I got is, how can a combat athlete gain strength without gaining too much muscle? Because we know too much muscle gasses you out when you compete with what we do. Like,
Mhm,
this is not football.
Mhm,
Football players can get away with it because they only play for 7 seconds at a time and
mhm,
they rest for a minute.
mhm.
In boxing, you work for 3 minutes nonstop, or in
Yeah.
MMA, it's 5 minutes and
Mhm,
60 seconds recover. Not in, that's including the whole time, but the real actual recovery time is 42 seconds,
mhm, mhm,
right? And that's not a lot of time when you don't really engage with a real man or woman for an entire round. So tell me, how could they gain what type routine would you take someone through who's liking to gain but still keep their speed? What
mhm.
type of workout would you do? He's gone out.
Oh,
There
sorry
you
about
go. There,
that.
it's all good.
Right. So, Eric, first off, before I answer this question, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off the last one. As far as like how long
Oh,
should a proper
sorry.
warm up be? For that, I would recommend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and that's
Okay.
based on what your plan is for the day in the gym. Another thing, is majority of folks that go to the gym, they go there without a plan. They just kind of go on based on their feelings. Hey, what do I
Yeah.
feel like working out today? And if you aren't planning or have a structure you're following,
Yeah.
one, you're not going to be able to see your progress. And it's
Yeah.
just like, you're just going and just being whimsical with it. For anything,
Yes.
for a trainer, for a trainer, MMA artist, specialist, you guys have a
Yes.
specific plan you're following because you have a desired outcome.
Yeah.
And just like with your training has to match what your objective is.
Yes.
So those are the two things that I would say that I see common
Perfect.
in the gym. Now,
Well said.
as far as if you want to gain strength without too much muscle, and
Yes.
it goes into the same thing. um, as a coach, one of the main thing that I get from, especially from women that I coach, is I don't want to get too bulky. And if your goal is not to get bulky, you're not gonna get bulky because you won't train as an athlete that whose primary objective is to be bulky. So
Yeah.
as far as putting on too much muscle, the only way that happens is if you're training like a bodybuilder. But
Yeah.
the fact that you're a MMA or boxing, your main goal is for functionality. So that means your training has to match up, what you're doing in the ring, working on conditioning, recovering time, some hit training, because that's going to translate very well into the ring. Like you were saying, you guys have 42 seconds of recovery. If your breathing is not proper, you're not going to be ready for that second round. And
Yeah.
that's going to make all the difference between you winning and losing. So
Yes.
how to structure that? One, first and foremost, make sure you're getting the proper amount of protein in your diet. And two, functional training. Some med ball slams, some trap bar deadlifts, some
Yeah.
landmine exercises to replicate MMA or just functional training in general. And that's gonna get you nice and lean and very functional strength.
Man, I'm telling you, just watching the stuff here that you're doing, and it just gives me a whole nother respect for this is why I decided to start to bring in more influential people to
Mhm,
make sure that they realize how important their job is. To the people who are watching, they really don't have insight to this stuff.
mhm,
And so I got a question from one of our up and coming athletes, Ali of the School of Boxing.
mhm.
How can one get faster and quicker like Sugar Ray Leonard?
That's a really good one, Ali, man. Wow. Like Sugar Ray, the main thing would be utilize resistant bands and do a lot of agility drills. And
Yeah,
the latter is going to be your friend.
yeah,
And just like going out there with the proper intention, and also structure out your routine.
yeah,
Uh, With the structure, you're able to track your progress, see how you're doing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so the ladders are one of my favorite actually. So that
Well,
help you develop that quick feet.
yeah, one of our coaches said, "Love that work, coach."
Yeah,
Those club bells have been one
yeah.
of my go-to.
Hmm.
Yeah, he definitely he's a fan of the work. That's why I had to show them a little bit of what you're doing.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can see because you're on the phone, but
Hmm.
there's another screen of your IG, and we're showing. kind of some of the exercises you do. And so guess what? You never know when your stuff is going to be pop out for 200,000 people. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you always got to post like you think it could be any day that somebody's going to be watching me that I had no idea would be watching me. So you always got to put that smoke out there all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Let me see. We got another guy. Is speed its own form, and can being stronger without getting bigger make a faster person, or can being stronger without size make you faster and hit harder? So I'm going to pivot this, and I'll answer this one because I see Joey, which is these
Mm-hmm.
guys come up with good questions. Joey got a 2 for 1 in there. Here, I'm gonna break his question down,
Yeah, of course.
and you can elaborate as well on this as well. So, is speed its own form?
Mm-hmm.
Speed is a characteristic based on how much quick twitch muscle that you have in the body, muscle fibers. You see someone who's toned, like when you see athletes, because I consider you an athlete, that you
Mm-hmm.
are an athletic trainer, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's important that people do know people are born with speed, but can you get faster? Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
can being stronger without getting bigger make a faster person? You can get stronger and be explosive inside of your frame.
Mm-hmm.
And so that question, you can get, like, if you're in your frame, and just say for instance you weigh a buck 47 and you pick up 3 pounds, but you look like you gained 7 or 8 pounds of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's dexterity. That goes into dexterity, right? That's the compound of that muscle. That means that muscle is not all expanded and loaded in between the layer and fibers with fat and fluid. That means it's compact. And when you saw guys like Usain Bolt run, he was long and he was tight and compact. Well, I got to work with Justin Gatlin, who was also the only other person on the planet that could beat that guy, right? And he was thicker. He looked more like a strong safety, 6'1", and he's kind of long, but he had more of a linebacker, small outside linebacker kind of shape. But when you look at Usain Bolt, he's long and lengthy, right? And those different type of muscle, that depends on the speed. If you're going to be long distance, like other guys who ran the quarter mile and were fast in the quarter mile. But just remember this: don't go outside of your muscle, your avatar. You get it? Like when you start to feel your clothes get tight and they used to fit really good, that's a problem. When they just fit kind of like a good shirt, a good snug, then that's big enough. That's the clothes test. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to get out of the box, then that's fine, but don't fight, because you will get smoked because you can't recover the oxygen
Mm-hmm.
fast enough. Or can being stronger without size make you faster and hit hard? Yeah, well, hit hard is about learning how to hit. And when you watch the Art of Sparring series next week, you'll get to see what that is. And for those who think it's the same one you saw before, it's not. This is the Art of Sparring 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
six series to this thing. And it's going to show you all of the things that you don't know about speed, power, skills, techniques, footwork, and things like that before you get into the ring and apply fisticuffs. You need to learn the principles of boxing. And so that's what you'll learn on this thing. And it'll be absolutely free to watch, right? So check it out next week. So you got to subscribe. So you can weigh in on this.
Okay, of course. Thanks, Eric. Now, Joey asked a really great question. Speed definitely is its own form. Now, it's a
Yes.
category when it comes to your fitness. And obviously, the faster you are, the better you're able to react, and the faster to the punch. And
Yes.
doesn't want to be faster. you know.
Yeah.
Can you improve on it? Can you improve on that? Of course. Everything can be improved on. As long as
Mhm.
you track it, you could improve it.
Okay, I got a question. How would you, if he walked in and he needed you right now?
Hmm.
Because some of these guys might reach out to you
Hmm.
and say, for instance, I'm in South Florida, of course, too.
Hmm.
So if these guys come and I say, well, I want to do a clinic, I say, well, I'm going to bring in my guy and he's
Hmm.
going to take you through a strength training.
Mhm.
Boom, it's yours. They walk in front of you,
Okay.
compile one day one. What would it look like?
Well, day one, I would have to see their baseline to see where they're at, as far as like strength wise, their conditioning also. So I would
Yeah,
put them through a couple of, I want to say like tests.
assessments.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to see exactly
Beautiful.
where their threshold is and how to move from there, because everybody's going to have different, threshold, you know, and then
Yes, that's perfect.
specific to their needs.
See, that's the right answer. I knew I liked this kid. I knew I liked him. Look,
Uh,
no, that's the you gotta assess.
yeah,
You can
exactly.
give an answer, you can give an answer, but the reality is you have to assess.
Hmm.
That is the right thing to do. That's the only thing to do. If
Because
you understand
everybody.
how it's yeah,
Mhm. And
let me
that
see.
part of that question, can you get stronger without without getting bigger, and how would that impact you? Um, I always like to think about Bruce Lee. Now, when you think of Bruce Lee, he wasn't a super jacked dude as far as like bulkiness, but he was cut, and this guy was quick, and he was strong. So he worked on his power, and his speed was there to the point where that 2-inch punch that he had right there had tremendous power behind it. You
Yeah.
know, learn how to utilize your body and your mechanics.
hmm
Your punching power, your striking power is gonna be out of this world.
Yeah. The good stuff. That's it, man. You heard it. That's exactly what you'd be going through if you were to be in front of a guy who understands the combat game from his insight. Like they gotta have some kind of general understanding of combat. And of course, he'd lean in and find out more details and in depth from the person who's coaching you or working with you in the fighting side of things. So that's always a collaborative thing. And here's another one. Um, what exercises do you feel are underutilized for upper and lower body development? Like things that people just overlook.
Well, again,
What exercise?
I would go back to the landmine. One of the main ones would be a landmine press, and that could be done standing, that could be done kneeling, because that replicates like a striking, and also it develop your shoulders from 'cause your shoulder girdle is like a 360 degrees, and it strengthened that the front delts. So even your benching, any kind of pressing movement is going to give you more strength. And the next one, when it
Wow.
comes to lower body, that would have to be the front squat, front or goblet squat, because that is going to engage your core tremendously. And
Wow.
uh, majority of us, when we first start out and we go to a squat rack, one or squat form may be off, or there's too much leaning forward, where we're engaging more of our back. The
Yeah.
proper start would be with a goblet squat or a front squat. That's more manageable. Build the quads, allow you to get that mind muscle connection on how to brace your core. Because
Yeah.
not just as a fighter, but in general, you want to learn how to get your mind and your core tapped into one to reduce back pain and back injury, and just like injuring yourself in general. Because the
Yeah.
more you keep this sturdy and tight, you're able to,
Yeah.
full range of motion and have proper control.
Wow. Well, you know what I'm going to ask of you is for you to do a demonstration on that one day, record it, and I'll put it on our page
That would be awesome.
and link your stuff back to it. Yeah. Because you're fluid, you're developed, you're balanced, you strong legs, strong upper body, strong flexibility.
Perfect.
Everything is a total spot on, and that's what these guys. Everybody needs to see that. And I my one of our coaches out in Australia, Paul Haraber, wants to ask, what nutritional advice would you say to those just starting out on their fitness journey?
Mhm,
And of course, just say for instance, they may be 30 pounds overweight. Typical. That's a lot of people don't even know that they're that much overweight. They think they're only 10 or 15,
mhm,
but the
mhm,
reality is, according to their avatar, they're that much more. What advice nutritionally on average do you have to tell people?
mhm. Well, first and foremost, uh, coming this is coming from my personal experience, being from
Yeah.
the Caribbean. I wasn't really so much taught as far as like nutritional, nutrition wasn't something that was taught. It was like food was just something that was given. You just learn, hey, eat to, just stay alive in a sense. But first would be to pay attention to what you eat, so just track your food. you know do it for 2 3 days just so you can have an idea. All
Yeah.
the snacks that you have or the little cravings, just track it down so you could personally see it. Because too many times we feel like we're eating okay, but until you see it for yourself, it's like, wow, man, this is what I'm putting into my body, and how those food are impacting you, how they make you feel, your energy throughout the day. Are you feeling more energetic? Are you feeling more sluggish? You get tired around 2 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And the next one is focus on protein. By taking care of protein, which is the most important, um, how would I say, macronutrient,
Macronutrient. Yeah.
it's gonna make sure everything else just fall into order. Because if you're eating the right amount of protein, you're gonna feel a lot fuller. You're not gonna get hungry or have your cravings as much as you normally do. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's gonna boost. If you're going to the gym, it's gonna maximize your gains in there, because the protein is gonna go straight to your muscles, allowing you to recover a lot faster. Okay, and
Yes.
for everybody, protein, just aim for about 30 to 45 grams per meal. And
Okay.
again, these are things you could track. Super simple, super easy. My Fitness Pal is free, literally. Just go take a picture, take a screenshot, and upload it in there, and do that for a week, just so you're aware of where you're at.
And would you say the fact that just you got to be honest, and I'm glad that I'm able to ask you this.
Mhm.
Don't you think, or what's your thoughts on people who are trying, but they're trying to do it by themselves? What's the level of success that
Mm.
people have typically whenever they try to do this by themselves?
Mm. You know what? That is something that is very key, especially in the coaching industry.
Yeah.
One thing you have to realize: the most successful athletes, the most successful boxers, they have coaches. You know,
Yeah.
and you wonder why they're so good, because they have somebody that's have an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Because when you're in your field, sometimes you're too focused. You're focused on your objective, and
Yeah.
you can't see what's on your blind side. But the
Yeah.
coach, that's his job. If your form is off, for him to correct your form, to
Yeah.
give you some tips how to make you better. Now, when I first started out, unfortunately, I didn't have a coach. I was just piecing information from YouTube University. And it worked, but it took a lot longer than it should have.
Yeah.
But once I finally got that the sauce, now,
Yeah.
wow, I'm able to coach and train others that are struggling with that. So
Yeah.
instead of this taking you 3 years to get to your idea avatar, it may only take you 6 months. And then
Yeah.
maintaining that in the
Yeah.
long run, so you're not just roller coasting over and over. It's
Yeah.
consistent.
That's a powerful thing. Somebody else has a question. What are your favorite proteins to eat?
Protein bars, of course, and also to my whey protein is my go-to, and third is gonna be from meat sources, which will be either some form of fish or chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, too, I've been doing a little bit more research, as far as like adding more liver into my diet.
Organ meats.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and they're just so rich of nutrients, and
Yeah.
our ancestors were pretty much just feeding on that, and they did it for a reason. If you
Yes.
better study somebody that's already been doing it, and these guys
Yeah.
were doing it for hundreds of years, so there must have been a reason why.
That is, man, I can't even begin to thank you for being that clear, that clean to everyone. Your reality is there's not a lot of people that are as focused as you, and at the same time then you take liberty to follow and pursue that dream. And I know you've done a lot of reading, and it just speaks, it just comes out of your biochemistry. I can feel it that you're cerebral. I watch your posts, and I don't follow anybody of literally but yours fortunately came across my feed, and I wanted to introduce people to those people who are out there and who really embrace and digest knowledge, and
Mhm.
they are working with people. You are online, you have an online coaching program too, right?
Yes, yes.
And you are doing, you work with people, and you kind of like have that entire thing all sewed up. You got your online stuff. So people go over here, and let me put your handle back up here, because it's advantageous that you guys understand who's out here who is doing it right. And so that's why I wanted to bring you on. I don't get anything but to let you have an audience that loves good information.
Mhm.
And so making sure that people know who's out there that they may not have come across yet. I love your reels. So you're doing a great job. Keep
Appreciate
that stuff up, man. Anything you want to, any advice you want to pass along to the people before we let you, kind of do your thing?
Mm. Well, as far as advice wise, when it
Yeah.
comes to fitness or general health, and just do something that you enjoy
Yeah.
first, because that's gonna allow you to keep and maintain that longevity. You know, and focus on the process or
Yes.
enjoy the process more than the end outcome.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's gotten to I've gotten to the point where once I reached a goal that I had set out for, once you
Yes.
get there, it's like, I did that. What's next? But when I look back on what it took me to get there, those were
Mhm.
enjoy enjoyed moments. You know,
Yeah.
the struggle, the wins in between. That's what we crave
Yeah.
more. If you're
Yeah.
focused on the process, you're gonna get to your goal no matter what. You know,
Yeah.
and it's simple as just keeping your head down and just showing up for yourself
Yeah.
and remembering why you started.
I like that. Showing up for yourself.
That's it.
Showing up for yourself. One of our followers, a name didn't pop through. So if you'd like to type your name in there, let them know. They said, thank you so much. You gave so much good insight and information. You definitely got new followers. So, you
Appreciate it,
know,
guys.
hey, yeah, so that means you got to keep on giving that good stuff, man. I just say start from the bottom and work your way up, so you
Exactly.
don't have to figure it out. You
Exactly.
start off low and work your way up. Start all over, do it all over again,
That's
because you got good stuff, man. And I think people want to hear more from you. So keep cranking that stuff out, man. Thanks for moving your schedule around to make this, because it was worth the wait, man. I appreciate
it.
you, brother, and we'll definitely look forward to having you back on.
Anytime. And Eric, man, it was a
Yes.
pleasure for you to share this space with me today with your followers, and you guys are awesome, man. I'm definitely
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and check out the art of fighting,
Art of Sparring
the art of sparring. Definitely.
2.0. Yeah, it's gonna be nice next week. Make sure you
And-
subscribe. You'll get that invite, and it's a 6-part series. It's nothing like it. And I'll send you my website, and you can just go up there and just subscribe, man. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's something we've never done like this.
Mhm,
Well, we're giving our followers immense value,
mhm,
uh, with an experience that no one out there can just afford to have, because this is the world elitist training camp kind of knowledge. And people don't really understand what it takes, that professional level people do, the
mhm,
layers that we go through. All they see is the little final little video they go out, the little 13 seconds. They didn't know it took 800 hours to make that clip.
mhm, mhm,
It clip is 18 seconds. They like, yeah, I can do this. So all they do is that. Then they go out there and they try it, and then they get deeper in trouble, because
mhm,
all they learned to do is get further in trouble, and it's
mhm,
up, further up the hole to get you, don't dug a deeper hole. So it's really hard to get out now, because I teach you how to get in the trenches, but you got to
mhm,
really learn to how,
mhm,
when, and why. So tune in next week, next Thursday, I think it is Thursday, and that's going out to our audience, only subscribers. Don't sleep. You don't get to come in on number two. You got to start with number one, so you can really get the true essence of what we do at
mhm.
the highest level of the sport. And we love sharing that with you. So thanks again, brother. You're
Man,
definitely welcome to check it out.
yeah, man, I can't wait, man. And boxing is one of my favorite sports, man. So,
Beautiful.
a lot of value there. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you're
Cool.
looking forward to it as well.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'll see you soon, brother.
All right, Eric, have a great
All
one,
right,
guys.
champ.